What's up, guys? Albert here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the housing crisis in Rhode Island. More exactly, the affordable housing crisis in Rhode Island. Exactly what that means. How bad are things when it comes to this? And what are people doing and what are people saying? All right, so let's get into the video. Before we do, subscribe to my channel. You already know what we do here. If you have any questions, if you're looking to move, looking to invest here, looking to buy a home here, if you're looking to sell, my number is right below here. There's also a link. You can book a meeting right there with me directly. And yeah, let's get into the video. All right, so Rhode Island has had a crisis on housing for a while now. This has been getting worse and worse for probably in the last 10 years. But in the last 5 to 4 years, this has gotten much worse. So the rate at which things have worsened has increased drastically, especially during COVID. Now, in this channel, we've been talking a lot about this and about how this affects housing, how it affects people who live here and people who are looking to move here. But lately, this issue is starting to gain traction from news organizations locally and some nationally. There's also a lot of articles that are being written about it because the class that is considered to have extremely low income in Rhode Island is increasing, and it's pretty high right now. So the class that is considered to have extremely low income in Rhode Island is about 32%. And that income comes to about $29,000 per four-person household. So four-person household are making about $29,000. Now, again, that accounts for about 39% of the entire population in Rhode Island, which is a lot. Right? If you put it in more numbers, the population of Rhode Island is somewhere around 1.1 million people. About 300,000 people who live in Rhode Island go into the low-income housing category. Obviously, this is alarming, and that's why it's been getting coverage from different news outlets like WPRI and other magazines. It's getting written about. Videos are being made because this is getting more and more complicated. So I wanted to share some data with you so that you have really an idea of what's going on and what's happening. All right, so nearly half of all Rhode Island renters spend more than 30% of their income on rent. Right, so majority, 30% of their people's income, so 30% of the $29,000 that they're making is going on rent. Rent continues to increase. Obviously, that is very high, and it's continuing to go higher because of the lack of inventory, and this is what is making things even more scary. It's been estimated that the state needs about 24,000 affordable housing units to breach this gap that we have in the state. Now, things are being done with different grants that are being out there. Things are being promoted as far as more housing to be built. Now I hear that there's even talks about regulations on certain cities and towns being switched so that people can build housing more easily to somehow figure this out. But as it stands, there are a lot of people who are struggling to pay their rent. There's also a lot of people who are just struggling to even find a decent place to rent for their families, especially if they are in this extremely low income bracket. About 60% of extremely low income renter households in Rhode Island are burdened by housing costs. So more than half of that extremely low income housing, so more than half of 32% are burdened by that cost. They can't afford their rent. They can't afford their basic living expense. Here's I got a couple different states for reference for you just to keep in mind. So I got Texas. Texas extremely low income rate is 22%, right? But Texas is such a bigger state. It has so many more people there. It's a completely different perspective. It's much wider, a bigger state. So that's why it's a little bit different. But again, it's at 22%. Then I also got Florida, which is at 21%. And I also, for reference, took our neighboring state, Massachusetts, which is really not doing much better than us at 31%. These are some important data to keep in mind and to pay attention to, and to really kind of go back to see what happened and when did this shift really happen, and what is kind of like the catalyzer of all this. It's really simple. Looking back between 2015 and to today, if we look at housing, simply the answer is right there, right in front of us. The inventory in Rhode Island every year has shrunk drastically. Right? And every year it's gotten worse. It has never improved one year where we've had more houses on the market than the previous year. Right now, at the time of me making this video, there's about 600 homes for sale. And guess what? On those 600 homes for sale, there's probably about 50 of them that qualify for affordable housing for someone to even think about purchasing. Now, all these potential renters here, most of them don't even qualify to purchase something, and the dream of owning a home is just slipping away, and that gap is just getting bigger and bigger. And for now, it does not seem like anything is going to change. The other thing is, investing in Rhode Island has become super attractive. Cities like Central Falls, Providence, Pawtucket, these are known for these multi-family unit properties, so it's very attractive to investors. It used to be attractive to local investors, and people would buy them, keep them, rent them, and then there's a lot of first-time home buyers who would buy them, live in one unit, rent the other two. But in the last couple of years, I can tell you from experience, even had a lot of people reach out just from the channel, from New York, Boston, California, really all over the country, who are thinking about investing in Rhode Island. I personally have helped many people purchase multifamily properties here, because if you compare the purchase prices to New York or Boston, these still look like deals. There's also a lot of cash buyers that are coming out of nowhere and buying these multifamily properties and kind of just kicking out the competition locally, where people cannot really compete with those kinds of buyers. So a combination of low inventory, a combination of investors, and a combination of out-of-state investors is causing this rental crisis, because there's just simply not enough available. And then on the other side, if you look at the permits released in every city or in every town of new construction for affordable housing, there's just simply nowhere nearly enough that is being released for people to be able to afford properties. If you look at the state and if you look at what they're saying, it is that people are trying to figure out the problem. They're releasing different grants. They're working on making things easier. But as of right now, things are not getting any easier. I made a similar video, I believe, about a year and a half ago, and really these numbers have slightly increased, but they have not changed by much, right? So this is where we stand at the time of making this video. Obviously, I hope things change, things open up a little bit for the sake of the community. Everybody deserves an opportunity to kind of reach that American dream and hopefully be able to own a home. But as things stand right now, this is a reality. There are about 24,000 affordable homes that are needed in Rhode Island right now. So the shortage is absolutely ridiculous. The number of people who are in that bracket that are struggling to even survive and pay their bills is at 32%. We hope that that number does not increase, and we hope that this somehow gets figured out. But I am happy that I'm not really the only one making these videos. There's other, like I said, news organizations that are making videos like this and are raising more awareness in the state that this is an issue and it cannot really be ignored anymore or kind of brushed under the rug. Something has to be done, and I'm hoping that something's going to be done soon. So there you have it. This was a quick video about this issue. If you have any questions, if you're looking to move or invest in Rhode Island, reach out to me. My phone number is right below. There's also a link. If you have any questions more about this, if you have any more information for me about this issue, please reach out. I'd love to know more. I'd love to even make another video about it. If somebody knows of certain things that are happening in different towns and different cities where people are working on solutions on these problems, please let me know. I'd love to cover them in this channel. If you have any questions, again, reach out, subscribe to my channel. Until the next video, I'll see you.